Welcome to Expressions. I'm your host, Zoe Olivia, guide to the growth minded truth seeker, leader of full life transformations, and a voice for peace, wellness, abundance, and soul based, truth based self love. This show is for out of the box thinkers, and every episode is designed to call you forward into your greatness, your self acceptance, and your higher purpose, as well as supporting you in your awakening journey. May you feel energized, expanded, inspired, safe, and free. Thank you for joining me. Let's go. Hello, my friends, and welcome back to Expressions. I am, as always, excited and grateful that you are joining me on this leg of the journey for this episode. I'm recording because I'm in a phase of movement. So the past 4 or 5 years, I would consider myself pretty rooted and grounded in a certain area. Now I'm in this movement energy, and so I'm playing with that. I'm moving around a lot, still, working and doing my thing. I'm just doing it in a more dynamic way. And so I've been playing with different spaces, like bringing my computer out and all of that. And so today I'm in this epic co-working space where they have some soundproofing booths, and I'm playing with what it looks like to record my pod from here. So cool. So cool. And so much fun. I love it. 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 I'm obsessed. Let's see how the quality of the sound is and how we feel flowing with this episode. This is another one that I'm coming on and recording with kind of a vague idea of what I want to riff on and talk about. And we know that the most epic episodes, the most glowing episodes are the ones in which I just speak from the heart. So before we go ahead and dive into today's topic, some orders of business on Monday. Today is Friday, October 27th. Not sure exactly when you are listening to this. The year is 2023. I don't know if this is going to age 2 or 3 years or whatever it is, but just to let you guys know for point of reference, Monday, October 30th, 7 to 9 p.m. EST virtual, I'm having my event called NOURISH. So these are my epic masterclasses. I call them a collection of conscious masterclasses where we dive into different themes. The words always kind of come to me intuitively for what people are coming in to receive. And this week, like Monday's class, Nourish, it's very loud that people want support in making life easy, right? Easy and flowy, especially when it comes down to manifestations of things like money, prosperity, peace. Having all of this be nourishing, easy, flowing, exciting, purposeful. So if this calls to you, please, please, please come join me at the event. I'm excited to meet you. I know I talked about in the past couple of episodes my email love letters. So that's my very aligned, purposeful soul version of a newsletter. I call it love letters because it just feels way more like me. I put a lot of love and care and soul magic into my emails, and I've had a tremendous amount of feedback, which is really cool and not what I expected when I sent the emails. That people are really seeing the value, which is my intention, to bring as much complementary value as I can, as much, high vibrational value as I can into your email inbox. I don't know what else is going on in your inbox, but it's part of my responsibility to make sure that vibration is maintained. And so if you want to receive my love letters, again, they're complimentary. It's kind of like this format, just a little bit more visual, so you can get that sparkle, that shine, that glow through your inbox. I will include how in the show notes. So let's begin. I know I actually sent it out in a love letter, and so maybe it's worth saying here again. My magic program, which is my transformative one-on-one quantum leaping life transformational program for private clients, is opening back up again soon. It's on waitlist right now. I'll also have a link to that in the show notes if you or anyone you know is calling in one-on-one support. I am right now in the capacity of very soon opening my doors up to new one-on-one clients. So if you or anyone you know is interested, you like the way I roll, you like the way I vibe, the way I teach, the way I live, the way I am, the way I be, I invite you to reach out and connect. Just in general, I'm excited to get to know you and to hear what's going on in your life. I have so much love for each and every one of you guys. So now I'll get into it. Oh, woo! Okay, so let me feel in. I'm gonna do it with a deep breath. Yep, still the same topic. So manifestation, what is that? And then combining that with a conversation of the state of the world. Okay, so manifestation and the state of the world. Again, as I said, I time-stamped this episode in the beginning. This is October 27th, 2023. There's a lot going on in the world right now. I feel like there always is, and there's certain things that we collectively focus on and we collectively tap into emotionally, right? And so we can feel pain of certain type of experiences. And so right now, currently in the time-space continuum, we have the Israel and Palestine situation going on. And so I think it's really fascinating to combine that conversation with my favorite conversation, which is manifestation, and to invite you into understanding how they dance together, how they move together, really having you understand how both of these things can be true at the same exact time. And so I'm also playing with, because I have a couple, I know I'm recording and I'm not sure if you guys can see the visual yet, but I'm playing with like I have different like camera angles and lighting angles, and so this is my first time in the soundproof booth and it's just really exciting and cool. Whew, okay, so back to all the things. So first I want to start with manifestation, and then I want to segue that into what's going on in the world. So in general, you're going to hear about me, manifestation, what I think that is, and then we'll move it through. Okay, so since I started this business 3 years ago, my spiritual journey, quote unquote, began much earlier than that. It's evolved, and it always will, right? As I, dive into deeper layers of me. And one of the words that always called out to me was manifestation. And very early on, I'm not one for labels, but if I were to describe my career or my role, in the beginning, the word manifestation always kind of stuck with me, to me. People would kind of associate me with that, and I enjoyed it. Like Zoe and manifestation, like that was always kind of a combination, and then also abundance. And so I would have people say, oh, when I think of abundance and manifestation, I think of you, manifestation queen, blah, 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 blah. And so that's all well and good, because I know that that's such a hot buzzword right now. And I think that it's worth taking some time to talk about what that really means by my perspective, my perception, and then how I teach it. Because it's really easy, like, in the community, and you see influencers and like manifestation and things, like it is sparkly and fun and exciting and like, ooh, and it has like that magic element of, ooh, and it grabs your attention. And I love that about it, because manifestation is fun and playful. It's also extremely practical. And, I think it's worth understanding how. I'm all for airy fairy. We love like some airy fairy stuff. And I also want to bring it to a place that we can understand it from multiple lenses. So when I talk about manifestation, whenever I teach manifestation, I'm pretty sure I've also done this in other episodes, but here we go again. We have to lay a very important foundation, because until you understand these things, you won't be, quote unquote, manifesting what you want. Okay. So the first principle, I hope that you are taking notes, like if that is something that you do, or if you're in a capacity where you can like start to just pay attention to this. The number one, right, is to understand that when it comes to manifesting and manifestation, it's not just manifesting what you want. You are manifesting 100% of the time, whether you like it or not, you're manifesting. Always teach that first. You're always manifesting. Maybe some things about your reality, you're like, I don't understand why this is happening, because I want to manifest a yacht. Like always with me, you're going to hear yachts as my point of reference, because that's my favorite thing to manifest, intentionally and consciously. And yeah. So, that's the first thing to understand with manifestation and manifesting. You are manifesting 100% of the time, whether you like it or not, whether you are enjoying what's in your reality or you are not. Okay? It's important to realize that, because until you realize that, you're always going to be looking at the external to be like, where are the things? And this is happening. And that's another foundational piece for you to understand, that you're creating it. You are creating it. It's not just like happening to you. You're creating it. So you're creating it, and you're creating it always. The things that you like, the things that you don't like. Ownership is a huge part of this journey. I've seen and I've had mentors in the past call this quote unquote radical responsibility. That's like, I think maybe what the community or spiritual people, I don't even know, self-development mentors, I don't know, whatever. Ownership is the way that I like to say it, because I had a mentor who also very lovingly told me there's nothing radical about taking responsibility. It's not like this like someone who's like, radically accept yourself. Like, it's not fucking radical. You just do it. You accept yourself. You own it. Like, it's nothing like so crazy. It's what it is. Okay. So understanding that you are creating, that you're in the driver's seat always, and that you're taking responsibility always for everything that you're creating. These are like essential. And I charge a lot of money, like, to show people like how to understand this and do this practically. So you're getting this game, you're getting this free wisdom, these gemstones. If you remember last episode when I talk about the leprechaun with gemstones in the bag, like, I'm just giving this shit out. So please take it and please apply it to your life in the way that benefits you and loves up on you and what you want to create. Okay, so then when it comes to manifesting and manifestation, now that you understand that you're always doing it, it's getting really clear, especially if you don't feel like you're quote unquote receiving what you want, asking yourself, are you clear on what you want? Do you know what you want? And if not, why? Why? Are you resisting taking responsibility? Are you resisting maturing? I know that was a huge leg of my journey. Huge, because to get clear for me felt rigid, and like, what if I change my mind? Like, I didn't like that. And so it took me understanding that you can have it all, just be a little bit more deliberate about what's going to happen first and when, and then it'll come through. So that's also essential for you to know when it comes to manifestation. So I feel like it's time to segue in. And it's interesting as I tell you kind of like my physical, emotional states, even though I know that whenever I record these, you guys can pick up on my energy. Like, I am a happy being, and I have a like very high vibration right now, and I love recording these podcasts. I love talking about manifestation. I am pretty bubbly and silly and fun and playful, and always will be. And as I segue into the state of the world conversation, I recognize that there is some heaviness that's present within me. And so I'm vocalizing this because I want to share that it's all sacred, right? That I can be in like my happy, bubbly, white light, golden fairy energy when I talk about manifestation, and I can tap into the compassion and empathy and the heaviness that is the conversation that we're about to have. And I'll also bring it back into the glowy energy, because that's what, spoiler alert, if you leave with anything, that's what this is all about anyways, right? War, conflict, it's all about how soon can we come back to our natural state, which is that expansive, glowy manifestation energy. So the state of the world. This is interesting to talk about. When it comes to what's going on now, specifically bringing up Israel and Palestine and these conflicts and honoring, I still remember the day that it happened, and the voice notes I got, the calls I got from family and friends, and people just being scared. I remember there was a lot of emotionality that was coming through in my reality, and the people that spoke to me, alongside me, a lot of fear, a lot of heaviness, a lot of sadness, a lot of confusion, a lot of anger that I felt from others. And then within myself, I felt angry, sad, peaceful. And I'm excited to talk about that, because that's going to be pretty much how I continue to navigate this. All of them, because it's okay and it's normal to have a multidimensional, multifaceted, several emotion deep journey of things. So when it came to understanding this situation, and this is a perspective that I will continue to stand by, it's understanding the nature of war, understanding the nature of conflict, and understanding the nature of resolution. Okay, conflicts, maybe I'll speak a little bit slower. Conflicts come up collectively to be integrated, to be harmonized, to be alchemized, to be moved through. Conflicts inherently do not arise to be perpetuated. That's just not how it works energetically. Okay, so when people are like, how are you so calm and optimistic? People are dying. Like, it's not to say we're not going to feel the pain and the anger and the frustration and the upset, because that's a very important part of it to move through it, right? For us to get so clear. And that's what all of this, anything, collectively mirrors back to us where we are, which is really important as we, and back on the conversation of manifestation, because this is what this is. Anything that we materialize into form, whether it's a yacht or war or, money or an iPhone. I don't know why I went like very materialistic, but just giving you some things that you can see tangibly in your mind. Those things are a side effect of ideas and consciousness, if that makes sense, right? I'm realizing that there's nobody on the other line that would tell me whether or not this makes sense, but you can always reach out and tell me it doesn't make sense. Okay. So, these things are already the side effect of where we are individually in our consciousness. So by the time that it's coming out, it is a side effect. Okay. So the same way, what's an example I can give of this? The same way, if I don't deal with something like a shadow and I create it in my reality, that creation is a side effect of the state of my consciousness and the fact that I didn't meet my shadow. Does that make sense? So we all do that individually. And then if you add it all up, it happens collectively, and that's war. And that's, the scary, dark, shadowy stuff that we don't like to talk about, the taboo things, the trafficking. Like, these are all side effects of individual consciousness magnified into collective consciousness. Okay, so when it comes to these things, we have to always remember that, right? Because it's not to say, oh my God, the world's gonna suck forever and we're always just gonna, and it's never gonna get better and it's passing it down through generations. Like, yeah, it fucking is. And so it's on us to change it. Okay, it's on us to change it, to be a part of the conversation. I might get a little direct and aggressive. I feel that coming. To allow yourself to be part of the conversation in a way that is polarizing, oppositional, against, is a fucking flagrant, irresponsible use of your time, your creative energy, your words, your behavior to enter any kind of space outside of a warfare conversation, in duality, in opposition, in against, is just misaligned. So, for example, you did now. Let's steer away from war. I'll bring it back in a second. But like, if I'm talking about, a fight I'm having with a friend, and I sit with my friend, or I talk about my friend, and I'm like, she did this to me. That's externaling, right? That's all opposition, and that's, against based thinking, which we know is not based in truth. Truth is unity. So to engage in any of those behaviors that are not in truth is misaligned. It's not how we use our energy. Okay. Point number one. Point number two, it is definitely on us to resolve the conflict. Okay. So you don't resolve conflict. I think it's Einstein that said, the energy, this is relativity, the energy of a problem isn't the energy of its solution. This is why there's Martin Luther King Jr. This is why peace is the answer, because you don't fucking end conflicts with the same energy of the fucking conflict, my friends. Fuck. Okay, here you can feel like the emotionality that I have about it. Like, stop. The answer to violence is not violence. Ever. Okay? Do we see how that's also oppositional and against? So, and I remember having these conversations with all types of people, and there's a story that I heard relatively recently of a mom whose son was passed away at the hands of gun violence. And so she was on a tour, speaking out in his honor. And at no point was she like, I am gonna find who killed him, and I'm gonna get like the strength of this woman, the resilience of this woman to be like, I wish them peace. Okay, so I know that that line of thinking might bring things up for people, even for me. Like if I think of something happening to like my dog or my family, like this like primitive part of me is like, I will pop the fuck off and like nobody will make it out alive. You know, like there's that like primal thing that we have inside of us, and it's on us to see that, love that, and just fucking chill out. Just chill out. Because when we add into that energy, we're not fixing anything. We're compounding the problem, and we have to stop collectively. Cut that shit the fuck out. I'm usually much like Neither and like silly bean on these things, and this is serious because you want to know what to do. Here's what you fucking do. Own your primal instincts and just chill out. Don't enter any kind of like any situation where I'm still not really fully back on the war conversation, but in navigating our own conflicts, like don't bring that energy into things. And now back into the war. Do we see how this can translate collectively when we start to operate like this individually and then it magnifies? If we're able to hold our center, hold our peace, hold our emotions, honor them, express them, process them, but without, doing it through another and harming another, that's the answer. So in no point of this conversation and me talking about the state of the world are you going to hear me choosing a fucking side, period. That's oppositional and duality, and that's just not how we do things here. Especially because I'll be the first one to say I didn't spend hours and years of my life researching the history of the things, and I'm not going to claim that I did. I'm also not looking for a right or wrong answer. I think there's misalignments on both sides. Always, not just in relation to a war, but in any kind of thing that blows up to this degree. People on this side could have cleaned shit up. People on that side could have cleaned shit up. Both parties have to clean shit up independently and have the ability to come to the table, owning their own things. And I know that if you're listening to this and you have a certain degree of fervor in any direction whatsoever, this may land, in a certain way with you. And I totally am open to, if you want to like reach out and talk about it, that's part of my capacity as a leader, to be able to walk people home and to talk about things like this. And so, yeah, there's a lot of pain, there's a lot of charge, there's a lot of emotionality, there's a lot of anger. I have a cousin in the IDF, and I feel a certain type of way talking about it, quite frankly. I think I have to meet some stories I have about safety within myself, and protectiveness that I have within myself. And I also want to be clear that I don't mean that to insinuate that I know better than anyone else or I have a side, or like I just want to be really clear that like the pain is tangible to me. Like things in my own family coming up in relation to this, and the worry and the fear and the anger and like the tears that I've had of being like not understanding and just being even more deliberate in my purpose to bring peace into the conversation. So yeah, I say this all to say that I am with you, whoever you are listening to this, whether you have engaged in understanding what's going on in the world and you feel nothing about it, or you feel tremendous anger, tremendous pain. I'm with you, wherever you are in the spectrum, wherever your heart is. I'm with you. I am you. Quite frankly, I am your mirror. I see you, I hear you, I feel you, and I will always stand for peace, and I will stand very fucking firm in that. Always. Like that's my commitment. That's what it is. I will stand rooted like a tree to anyone who wants to have a kind of conversation with me about this, that the way out is going to be through a collective centering, which just means feeling our emotions and coming to the table from peace, coming to the table from a genuine desire to connect, to commune, to understand that whoever we're sitting with at the other side of the table is our brother, is our sister, is our family. And to have you not collectively, but to have you see that in this metaphor right now that I'm painting in your mind's eye of like two people sitting across the table, maybe politically, and, you know, being brother and sister, I want to go even a step further and say you're not on the other side of the fucking table, you're right next to each other. And so that's what we have to do collectively is understand, number one, that we're brother and sister, understand, number two, that we're on the same side of the fucking table, always. Whether we see it at the time or we forget, the nature of energy, the nature of design is we're always at the same side of the table. So I started with manifesting and I brought it into war, and it's one and the same, right? And I think it's cool that I'm, you know, using this buzzword to apply to where we are in our reality right now. And I'm very open to hearing what you guys think of this episode, to having further conversations, to offering support. I was previously doing peace offering calls. So those were my 15-minute complimentary, just really shifting things for you. And those I now call peace infusion sessions and peace immersion sessions. So if that's calling out to you and you want to take me up on that, just message me directly on Instagram and we can set that up for you. Again, this is October. I don't know how long I'm going to be doing that for in transparency because of the availability of my time. I do know that they are tremendously effective, and I've had a lot of incredible feedback on that as well, for people who are calling in more clarity, a place to go with any kind of thing that comes up emotionally, to understand the next directions and to leave with that peace. So if that calls out to you, definitely go ahead and book that bad boy, and just know that I love you. Know that how I want to end this conversation is how I end every conversation on the same topic, which is that everything's going to be okay. That's the design. Like, it actually already is. Because the only thing that's true is the present moment. So everything is okay. And everything is always moving towards being more okay. Like, that's, Google the Fibonacci sequence, Google the golden spiral, Google, like, if you're very scientific, Google like 4D graphics and understandings of that, like how energy is meant to flow progressively always, right? And time and all these things. We're good. We are always good, and we always will be. So take that knowing that I have. It is a fucking knowing. It's not a belief. It's not like a maybe if we do this then the other. It's always working out for us, and it is working out nonstop. So just know that I love you, know that I'm supporting you, and yeah, onward we thrive is a quote that my mentor Kevin always says. And let's just continue to be beacons of love and peace. And if it feels hard, you know, own that and do it anyways. That's the best. Like, talk about fucking ease and flow. Last week we talked about ease and flow. Monday's class is on ease and flow. And I will always, like, my brand is ease and flow, especially in the conversation of war, because it's the same thing. Okay. So I invite you that no matter what comes up for you this week, like, again, I invite you that no matter what comes up this week, stay in peace, stay in ease, stay in flow, stay in the knowing that it's all going to work out always and forever. And if it takes a second and you don't necessarily believe me, just hold my vision, hold my hand, hold my heart, and know that we're good always. So I'm sending you guys so much love, and I'll talk to you soon in the next episode of Expressions. Bye.